Okay, I'm back. We're on. It's taken me a little bit of time to prepare this because this is actually my Dungeon Master preparation. I'm in the process of putting a map together, and I have said that I would show people exactly what I do behind the scenes, so this is exactly what this video is. Okay, so you'll find the start time for this video is down in the description. I will say right now, do not expect perfect quality in sound because I will be standing up while I'm doing this. I won't be sitting, I won't be able to be right over my microphone. And not only that, I will be probably moving around a lot because there's a lot of things I have to do. I'm going to be drawing, and this drawing is quite large. There's quite a lot of pieces involved as well. So if you're worried about the sound, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not in a sound booth. Okay, now the other thing is, normally what I do is I would present everything first and then open it up for questions and answers. And that is not going to be the format for today. I'm going to run the format for this particular video very much like when I am painting miniatures, which is I'm going to keep an eye on the chat box as I'm drawing, and you'll probably get a response quite a lot more quickly, so you are welcome to ask me questions, give feedback, or just chat about anything in particular that you want to talk about. I don't actually have a problem with that at all, so you're welcome to do that if you feel that that would be helpful to you. And I'm all about trying to be as helpful as I possibly can, so yes, that is the format for today. So we're all ready to go, everything is working fine, so we'll get started and go from there. Hi, welcome to HowtoDandD. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I'm not just going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. I probably will, but today is really more about me just showing you what I do behind the scenes. So, Dungeon Master behind the scenes. This is what this series is all about. I have done this video because nobody wanted to watch the unboxing of miniatures, and instead of giving me an alternative that I could put together, they didn't give me an alternative in the comments section, so I have ignored that. And as a result, we're just doing something that sort of is actually going to further me rather than further you. Now, if you get something out of it, fantastic. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm taking the Dungeons & Dragons Stranger Things, that's that Dungeons & Dragons Stranger Things starter set, and there is an adventure in that box called, as it happens, which I did a video on not so long ago, Hunt for the Thessal Hydra. So I've taken that adventure and I want to actually duplicate the map inside the adventure. There's two maps in particular. Today I'm working on the Troglodyte caverns. So this map in the adventure is quite large. You'll notice on the map that each square represents 10 feet. Yet I need a map that is going to be represented by 5 feet so that I can put miniatures on it. And as I plan to reuse this map, not just for my home game, but probably for future games and future videos, I really need it to be made fairly solid. So what I have done, and I will show you in a second, this is basically the stinky troglodytes cavern that we're dealing with. Alright, so this is what I have for today. If you find that the camera is a bit dark, let me know, and I will improve the lighting if possible by dropping the towel. I have a towel up to sort of stop some of the saturation on the video, but you'll let me know if there's a problem. So there it is. That's what we've got today. Now, what I've done is I've taken this map here, and then I have broken it up and done some calculations to figure out how many pieces I need to actually draw up to make the entire map 5 foot. And there's quite a few. Now, you could go digital if you really wanted to, I suppose, and blow it up on Photoshop and make adjustments. I'm not really that good at that sort of stuff. I just want to draw it because that's sort of how I do things. I do use technology, but I hate to say it, I am kind of a bit more old school. I like pencil and paper. So what I've done is I've figured out that along here on this map is 22 squares, which each square represents 10 feet, so it's actually 44 squares if the squares are 5 foot. And then this way here, I've figured out that it's 26 squares, so I multiply that by 2 because I don't want 10 foot squares, I want 5 foot squares, and so that's 52 squares. Now there's no way I can find a piece of paper big enough to put that on. So what I've done is I've found myself some A2 size paper. which is roughly about 600 by 500. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it up into sections. So that means that if I break up this map using that size paper, I need, going this way, I'll need to have 2 pieces, and going this way it'll be 3 pieces. So in total there will be 6 parts to complete the entire map, and no doubt it will take me God knows how long. So bear with me as I roll things up. Now I know people are going to say, why are you not using gaming paper? I live in New Zealand. I don't live in the USA or the UK or Canada, where these things are easily accessible. Ordering things online and getting it shipped to me would cost me more in shipping than to actually pay for the actual product. So it makes no sense as far as I'm concerned. Therefore, I'm drawing all the grid, and then I'm drawing out the map. Okay, you're welcome to talk to me as I go. I am going to sort of start marking out, because I know for each piece of paper I need 22 squares by 17 squares. So that's my first task, which is what I'm going to do right now. Okay, so 22 squares. I've got my steel ruler. Now for those of you who still work in imperial rather than in metric, I am from New Zealand. Okay, that means that everything I'm doing is going to be in metric, not in imperial. Alright, so I need to mark out each inch. An inch is about 25 millimeters. So if I mark out 25 millimeters, and let's just move myself along fairly quickly, I can probably mark that out without too much trouble. I don't know what you guys are up to today, so by all means share and let me know what you're doing. I'm just marking out now, so that's 50, 75, 100... 125, and there. Now I know what you're thinking. What a crazy thing to live stream. But has anybody ever shown you what they do for their DM prep while they actually did it? Well, I'm doing it right now. I've done another video like this. I don't know that they're necessarily that popular, but they do have a focus, which is, if you want to see how it's done, that's what you do. You have to sort of get your pencil and your paper and your ruler out and mark things out. I can't count the number of people who have told me they made their own maps by hand. Okay, so I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so along here I need to have at least 17, so that's 15, another at least 2, and that should be good. There we go, 25 and 50. So I'll put 18 just in case. Hi Josh, what do you think of the fog of war effect hiding areas of the map not yet seen, and how do and would you handle that? Well, if you draw out a map and you've got a map that you've got, the easiest way I think is actually just to lay pieces of paper over those areas, or you take your map once you've created it and cut it out and turn it into sort of like your own tiles. I think that's probably the easiest way, Josh. I know a lot of people have asked me about how I would do something like that, but that's honestly the technique that I would use. I had a discussion with somebody about how to do that, and they actually asked me to do a video, Josh, ages ago. I think it might be more than a year now, and I had avoided doing it because I wanted to have a really good way of doing it. And out of all the ways that I've seen, I felt like either taking the map and breaking it up into pieces so you can just place it out. So you'd cut it out as if there are rooms or sections that they're adventuring through, or you just place a piece of paper that's the right size to cover that part of the map and just sort of stick it on with a bit of blue tack, and then when you're ready to remove it, you take it off. I think that is probably the easiest way to deal with fog of war on a map, Josh. Hopefully that was satisfactory in terms of a response for you. I am just working my way along. I mean, I know you're thinking, well, Fred, you know, this is going to be really, really dull. But really, drawing the grid is the easy part. It is trying to figure out where all the lines are going to be for the map. That's the hard bit. And for those of you who are wondering why I'm not doing a Dungeon Master guide this weekend, well, the simple fact is, I was so tired. I just did not have time. And sorry, but I'm not like a professional YouTuber. I have a real job that makes real money, and that has to come first. So unfortunately, I just did not have the energy left to do it. And I think that ought to be satisfactory. Oh no, a couple more, just a couple more. Alright, okay, I think that's more than sufficient. Right, now I have to draw some lines along here. Well, this is going to be the interesting thing. I was going to do this in pencil, but I am very, very tempted to use a marker. And the reason why I want to use a marker is so that it's permanent, but I'm just not sure if this pen is going to mark it and bleed. It's one of the things with cardboard and paper, right? You use markers and it tends to bleed. I don't like that idea. So I'm just going to put a pencil mark on here and just see what it looks like. If I can see it on the screen, I know it's probably dark enough. I'm just using an HB pencil, for those of you who are wondering. And I'm going to move it away, just have a look at that. I don't know that I like that. I think I'm going to have to do something else. I think I'm going to have to use the fine tip marker that I've brought along. So yeah, I think that's the smartest route for me. So I'm going to go back, I'm going to do a little line and just see if it looks alright, and if it looks alright I'll do the rest of it, and if it doesn't look alright it doesn't really matter too much because I've only done it on a one little bit of the map. Okay, so what have I got here? This is a fine tip water resistant pen. Okay, let's have a look and see what this looks like at this end here. Is that going to work? Okay, I think that's going to work. This might actually be the pen I used to mark the grid when I was making the rewritable grid video ages ago. Yeah, it is. This could be a problem. It's probably going to run out of ink really fast. Yeah. So that's going to be my issue. Is it's just not going to stay dark enough because I'd done so many lines on the last one. Okay, alright, so we're going to skip that. I'm going to go to the pencil and stick with the pencil. I think that's the easiest way. Just make sure my lines are fairly dark with HP and then work my way along. And I might have to go back at some point and darken them up if I want them to sort of stand out the way I want them to. But we're on the way. We're going to get there. Okay. I had really hoped that I would have time to do a video on the Thessal Hydra, which I had started, but then when it came to writing the notes, I just didn't have it in me. I'd got all my sort of slides sorted out. I'd done a little bit of research, and then I was like, no, it's not going to happen. I just don't have it in me to do anything more, not today. There we go. I'll just mark it anyway. It's going to be a little bit darker than the pencil anyway, even if it's not brilliant. And yeah. Okay, let's keep going. Only got, what is it, 17? Is it 17? No, I think it's now 15 lines. 15 lines to work with. What is everybody doing with their time on the weekend anyway? Are you guys prepping for your games? I know I have a Dungeons and Dragons game today. I haven't played for at least a week because I had the baby shower last week, and I'm kind of itching to do some monster disposal. Really ready for that. Ready to have some clashes. It's just not going to work. I'm just going to stick with the pencil. It'll do. I'm a bit fiddly and precious with my lines. Sorry, it's the product of teaching technical drawing, and I like my lines to be accurate. There we go. Oh, well, I can probably draw the lines on the other side so you're not blocked by my body. So I'll do that instead. That's probably smarter, eh? Otherwise you've got sort of the shoulder and arm. What's that, Josh? You're filing mould lines on a new mini in preparation for a wash bath before painting. Oh, okay. I really wanted to do the unboxings or the just show people the miniatures, but nobody seemed to give a toss, which is fine. I get it, but it was like it would have been so much easier for me than having to try to prep anything, considering I just did not have the energy left. But anyway, you're lucky I've even showed up. Actually, as it happens, I was all for right. That's it. I'm not doing a video today. I'm too tired. I'm done. And then I thought, well, no, I'll do one, but I'll just do something that suits me. And I wanted to draw up this map anyway, so I'll draw the map. The problem with pencil is it always shifts, right? You can wind up smudging everything as you go, which is why I don't really like using pencil that much. Hi, John. John, be good. You don't buy paper with lines printed on it? You can't buy them in New Zealand, mate. You can get lines on them that wouldn't be the right distance apart. Things like gaming paper and gridded paper that are with spaces or boxes that are 25 millimeters apart or 1 inch apart do not exist in New Zealand. And if you could find them, I've never been able to, and trust me, I've asked and looked around. So that's a product that you can get in the likes of the United States, probably Canada, maybe the UK, maybe a few other big countries, but little old New Zealand is so small at the bottom of the world, you know, right at the very, as I would say, the ass end. We don't really get those sorts of products here. So, no, there is no lines on paper. I've got to draw my own lines. Certainly having gridded paper would be preferable. I did actually have a look at the option to do it and see if I could get it shipped to me. But even if I could find an address to get it shipped to me, in the end, I found that it was going to cost me so much money for just gridded paper. It was just ridiculous. And I'm not really poor anymore. I do actually make money, but yeah, I wasn't really prepared to pay the exorbitant price that I was going to have to get it. And the only place I could get it from was Amazon. I thought I might be able to get something like that from the book depository, free shipping, right? But no, wasn't the case. So, end of that plan. What's that, John? I'm lucky I can buy all lined paper, but in the USA, yeah. See, the USA, you know, you've got that sort of stuff. It's readily available. It's probably very common and easy to get. You probably don't even have to go. You can probably go down to a game store or order it online on Amazon. There's no freight cost or anything like that, provided, you know, buy enough. I just don't have that option where I live. And I know that's the case for a lot of people. I mean, about half of my subscribers or viewers are from Canada, from the US and then Canada, and then next lot, still a small percentage, like 5 or 6% from the UK, and then the rest are from different countries, and they wouldn't be able to buy any of those sorts of things. Just need a drink of water, and we'll just shuffle that up. Yeah, the pencil lines are going to make a bit of a mess. I feel so bad you live in bad place. Well, it's not a bad place. It just doesn't have all those sorts of things. Do you know what I mean? It's not a bad place. You just can't get all those sorts of things there. That's all it is. All right. Oh, where's this pen? See if the pen will work again. I'm having trouble with my pencil now. Yes, I knew I was going to have to get a fine tip pen, but I just couldn't find anybody who was selling one that was the right type. Which means I basically would have had to go into the city. They'll have something what I'm looking for, but yeah. I'm living out in a rural area in a small town kind of like a ghost town really, because most of the businesses shut over time rather than stay open. And I haven't seen any tumbleweeds rolling down the street yet, but there are times when you can see the gumboots are attached to the bull bars, and you know that you're definitely in little old New Zealand. And here I can hear the goat next door making a noise. Somebody's decided they're going to have a goat. I don't know what. I mean, I understand a cow, I understand sheep, although sheep are just as annoying in terms of the noise they make. But a goat? Why a goat? I don't get that. I suspect it's because they can't be bothered mowing their lawns. That would be my suspicion. Okay, alright. Not a fan of grass myself. Got plenty of grass in New Zealand, don't need any more. And I don't mean that sort of grass. John Be Good. Any Walmarts close by? There's no such thing as a Walmart, mate. There's no such thing as a Walmart. We have what's called the warehouse, and the warehouse is about it. Deca went out of business, and Kmart is in the city, and I think there's like one of them, and that's sort of close enough to be sort of a journey for me. I've never seen anything like what I wanted at Kmart. So yes, Walmart doesn't exist in New Zealand. That's just an American or a Canadian store as far as I can tell. We have a different company who operates that sort of stuff, and that's the warehouse, where everybody gets a bargain. Not that I'm advertising them. DG Enemy. Hey Fred, I've heard from colleagues that that have visited New Zealand that it's one of the most beautiful places on the planet, and that folks there are really friendly. Okay, DG, yes, it is one of the most beautiful places in the world. I'm sure there are places that are just as beautiful as New Zealand, but a lot of the background and scenery that you saw in The Lord of the Rings and in the likes of The Hobbit, that's real. That's not special effects, okay? That's absolutely real, those backdrops, in terms of the mountains and the forests and stuff. All real stuff. They do actually exist. In fact, you probably couldn't paint anything or do anything CGI that is quite as amazing as what we actually have in reality. Just because I don't think that people's imagination is that great. As for New Zealanders being really friendly, that was the case. I would say that New Zealanders in the past were quite friendly, but that's really not the case now. The rest of the world is caught up with New Zealanders. It's a tough place to live and make a living now, and which of course is the case for a lot of people. But the laid-back nature of Kiwis or New Zealanders is gone, and unfortunately they are just as appalling as everybody else now. So yeah, couldn't say that they are really friendly. Maybe they are better than somebody from the likes of, I don't know, think of a place which you don't like very much and go from there. I found that a lot of the people in Wellington were really a lot nicer than the people in Auckland. But yes, unfortunately, New Zealanders or Kiwis being friendly folk is now a myth. It doesn't exist. What's that, John Be Good? You was in the Hobbit movies? No. Not an actor, mate. Never have been. Have real no intention of wanting to be an actor as it is. It's hard enough getting in front of the camera to do this sort of stuff. And I can tell you, man, I was absolutely, the first time I tried to do a video live, I was so nervous. You would have, I had to dry myself down after. It was that bad. Funny you mentioned one colleague is heading off to Weta in June. Yes. Yep. I really liked Weta. That's the Weta Studio and the Weta Cave, where they sort of sell a whole lot of merchandise. Went on their little tour to see what they had stashed out the back, which they couldn't sort of let me photograph or video, because it was copyright, and it was supposed to, a lot of it was supposed to have been destroyed, and they were only allowed to keep it because there's no photos. Yeah, it happens, man. It happens everywhere. DG, same thing as has happened to Canada, in my opinion. Yeah, it is sad. You know, I really enjoyed the fact that on a Sunday, nobody worked on a Sunday in New Zealand in the past. Now that doesn't happen. Now everybody works whatever day, it doesn't matter what it is. Everybody was finished work on a Saturday by 12 p.m, noon. You know, lunchtime, you're finished for the day. And that's only some companies or businesses were open on a Saturday. You had to go to and do your stuff on Monday through to Friday if you wanted to go shopping. People didn't go shopping for fun. You went swimming or to the beach, or you went rock climbing, or you went tramping or fishing, hunting. You know, you did things outside. You went and played sport. New Zealanders used to play a lot of sport. They don't play quite so much sport now. So yes, it's a very different place than it was. And I miss the New Zealand of my youth compared to what it is now. Okay, I think I got all the lines in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I've got 18, I needed 17, so we're all good. Ha 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 ha. All right, very nice. You can do fine on cam. Thank you. Thank you. I'm doing my best. All right, so let's get my little clutch pencil. I prefer my clutch pencil to this HB pencil thing. And we'll put in the marks for this. So I need to do, how many? Was it 22? 22 lines. At least they're not quite as long. That was painful. That was really painful. DG, he's off to the VXF department at Weta. Oh, nice. I know that a lot of their jobs are very creative. They were explaining their process, and honestly, it was amazing to watch. I would never have guessed that New Zealand would have a special effects company in it. I mean, you've got to realise just how small New Zealand is. It's really like a speck. You could just about forget it even existed, right? There's 4.5 million people. That's it. 4.5 million people on a stretch of land the size of the UK, pretty much. So it's not that big, but it doesn't have that many people on it, which I kind of don't mind. I'm quite happy with the fact that it's not completely full of people. You can actually go and have a nice quiet time away from all of the other people who seem to be doing their own thing, which you don't necessarily want to deal with. Okay, so I am marking along here. The good news is I'm pretty sure I'm getting better at doing the marks. My eyes are still working, so that's a good sign too. You're going to get lots of really nice views right now of my elbow. I would like to point out that I do not shave, so I'm very hairy. And you'll also notice that there's probably a few blemishes, like moles or like little, dots or marks or so forth. That'll probably be some sort of sun cancer, because we've got no ozone layer over here in New Zealand. So make sure you bring your SPF 50 or higher, and make sure it's got like an 8-hour time frame for it. It's water resistant, and it's either zinc oxide or titanium oxide, because nothing else is going to work in our sun, and you'll wind up with some nasty cancerous thing growing on you and turn into your own monster from your Dungeons and Dragons adventures. Okay, now, so I may be over exaggerating a little bit. not really. It's definitely going to be an issue. Now I'm just, I do not like it when they put the little itty bitty freaking lines on there. I can understand my students in their classes get really confused when they see those little lines everywhere, and it's like, oh my god, what line is what? And I say, just look at it really closely. Your eyes are better than mine. Dear. Anyway, it's not like people need their skin anyway. So if when you come to New Zealand and you want to go sunbathing, sunbathing's a stupid idea in New Zealand. Okay, all you're going to do, if you're a black person, you'll probably be alright, but you'll still burn and wind up with cancer. If you are a white person, okay, there's only two colours for you if you are sunbathing in New Zealand, and that is white and red. Okay, I don't know that anybody's going to hang around for this sort of information. Okay, there's a question. Good. Torben BK, thank you for that. Will this be in your video section after the stream? I will most certainly put it in the playlist called Behind the Dungeon Master screen. Okay. I put everything in my selection. I don't usually get rid of it. Yeah, Red Lobster, that's the one. I think a long time ago, a whole bunch of people said, I don't like live stream. And then other people said, I want to watch the whole live stream, so I do both. Alright, I'm going to just speed along here, trying to use my eyes, what's left of them. Oh, that's another thing. Sunglasses. Got to wear sunglasses in New Zealand. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right, now I can sit down. Oh, man. I was getting a bit from all of that. Now I can put this over here. I'm going to push that over. And then, which way I want to go? Do I want to go from that side to this side, or I want to go the other way? Oh, the temptation is to go the other way, but I know it's going to be a problem, so I won't do it. Okay, so be it. I'll start on the other side. I've got to stand back up. Bum! I don't really want to stand up. I wanted to sit down. I've been doing my garden. I've put in started putting in my silver beet. I put down a lot of compost. I think it was like 15 bags of compost. 40 litres each one. And Puss and bugger. So that was a mistake, by the way. If you're wondering what the puss and bugger is all about, I made a slight yeah, it's all right. I'll fix it. So now I have, hopefully, going to have some spinach and some silver beet grown in my garden. And which means I won't have to pay the ridiculous prices for food in New Zealand, because it's very expensive. It's really weird. We're in a country that makes food, lots of it, and it's expensive. It's just strange. Anyway, I was doing a little bit of research on the Proud Princess from the Hunt for the Thessal Hydra, and I think I might have figured out where they actually got the idea for the Proud Princess from, for that adventure. So I am going to definitely at some point do a video on her, because I am under the impression that I may have discovered and found her origins. I could be completely wrong. What's that, DG? Fred, what about after you draw the lines? Is there a way to get your work laminated so erasable markers can be used on that? Yes, I can get it laminated. In New Zealand, you can take it to a place to get laminated. Buying a lamination machine, which I think somebody had suggested, would be stupid, because it would be, I think a cheap, nasty lamination machine in New Zealand is about 250 New Zealand dollars. So I would be better off, unless I'm doing a lot of laminating, to not do that and just go get somebody to laminate for me, which is a lot cheaper. So yeah, I think the lamination process for this is somewhere in the vicinity of $10 per sheet. But if I'm only getting 1 or 2 done, it makes a lot more sense than going and spending $200 or $250 for the most useless one. And a $250 laminator in New Zealand, that is probably for just a really small size page. So it would be like a A3 would probably be about the biggest you could put through it. You'd have to have a much larger one to get anything else done. And I did actually do a video, by the way, DG, on, and I hope you don't mind me calling you DG, it's just quicker and easier for me right now. I did a video on how to make a gridded map that was writable with a dry erase marker, and we actually used stick-on rather than going and getting it laminated by a machine. We just got some stick-on adhesive book cover, and you know, it's cheap, it's easy to apply, it doesn't cost as much as laminating, and it did exactly the same job. And yeah, really, really handy. I do actually have some of that, so I could do that if I wanted to. DG is cool, good, alright, good, that's good news. I'm glad to hear it. Now, for those of you who are wondering, oh, are you going to draw all the grids for all 6 pieces today? Not a chance. Do you think I could handle that? No, not a chance. I'm not going to get all those maps done today. If I got all those maps done today, this is like going to be 6 hours of work probably. So I am probably going to do just lay out the first section of the map and go from there, because that seems like the smartest and easiest thing to do. And for anybody who doesn't know me, I'm all about doing it smart and easy. In particular, stressing the word easy. Of course, unless it involves drawing grids on lines, where I'm quite going to draw the line rather than spend $37 on gaming paper from the United States. So yeah, we'll do that instead. We'll draw my lines. What do we got here? Oh yeah, I was thinking just going to a shop to get it done. Yeah, but yeah, you can buy that clear book cover adhesive stick-on stuff, and you can just stick that on, and it does exactly the same thing. And I'm pretty sure it would be cheaper than getting it laminated, but I don't know. It depends. You know, New Zealand and America don't have the same pricing systems, so things are very different there. Man. Oh, I went and bought myself, so for those of you who are here, just remember, there will be spoilers shortly. I will be drawing a map from an adventure from the Stranger Things Dungeons & Dragons starter set, The Hunt for the Fessel Hydra. So, if you are a player, don't hang around, just in case you wind up playing that adventure. Come back for a different live stream. Okay, there's a lot of squares. Can you imagine how there's 6 pieces like this? 6. There's a massive map. There's enough space in these chambers to go dancing. Dancing, dancing the night away. Dancing, I miss dancing. I don't think the problem is now that I have a bit of a pooch now. I have my own sort of, I'm growing food babies, so as a result, it doesn't look quite so attractive when you start jiggling around. Oh dear. Anyway, almost finished these lines, and then I can start using my pencil to mark out. And I've got a marker. I'm going to darken it out really good so I can see the outline of the cave and draw it in. Boom. Juice. Do. Almost there. Last little line. Oh, that's wonderful. At least this is not hugely difficult on my part, right? Drawing lines and marking things out. The most difficult part was doing the mathematics to figure out how to do this all. What's that, DG? Oh, I just thought drawing the grid once and using translucent tracing paper on top so that the grid shows through might be an option. Yeah, I was thinking of doing that too, and then I decided I actually wanted hard card. And I've got a whole lot of contact that I can stick on top of this. So I can now, if I want to, which I probably will, keep it for use at a later time. I know that my mates, my buddies, in the Dungeons and Dragons, should I say, the Dungeons and Dragons Adventurers League are going to want me to Dungeon Master this year because I'm no longer doing a job that doesn't really involve me doing crazy stuff. So I am expecting them to ask me to run some adventures. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get them, see if they'll let me run this adventure, because this looks like a lot more fun for me rather than the horrible mess of adventures that they usually have to run. Okay, so I'm going to go 3 squares, 1, 2, 3, but it's actually 6 squares, so that's another 3. So we're starting here, and I need to draw in first square is sort of like a bush bit, and then a little further down is like 1 square down, so more than 1 square. So about here, I guess, is a bit of a bushy bit, and then oh, it feels like I'm doing technical drawing again. It certainly does. Okay, so then it goes out this way with puffy bits. I know somebody is going to eventually say, Fred, your trees suck. They don't look like trees. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best. Okay, doing my best. Okay, so I'm going to mark that in. That line can stay. That looks right. And that looks correct. And I have no idea if that one is correct. In fact, I feel like it might be wrong. I may have... Did I balls it up? Yep, I did. I just rub it out. Thankfully, I got a pencil, though. What's that, Josh? Are you planning another Curse of Strahd video for DMs? I'm debating best places for treasure and best most interesting NPCs, ally for the party. Doing a random card reading doesn't appeal to me. Actually, Josh, I haven't got anything on the plans right this very second because I don't really work that way. It comes down to time and energy, and I haven't had a lot of that recently. So what will probably happen is you'll see it, but it could be a year from now. It could be 6 months from now. It might suddenly, I might pop into my mind and say, look, I really feel like doing it now. But yeah, I just can't really give you an answer around that. I know that's not really useful to you. I do understand that. But yeah, that's sort of my thoughts. Okay, so I wanted to get to about here, so I need to go sort of roughly blah, blah, blah. I think that's got that little section that goes sort of like that. That's that. But you wouldn't think that drawing a bush would be so difficult. But you've got to think, right, the squares I'm looking at are actually doubled, so yeah, and they're doubled both ways, right? Okay, so here we go. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is where the bush is going to be over here, and it's roughly, let's say about there-ish. Bush, got it. And then the next bit is about 1 square, which is actually 2 squares, so it's going to go up to about here, roughly there to there, so we go something like that, and then I think that is the gist of it. Okay, so I'm putting the bush in. This is super interesting stuff. Now, when I had the idea to do behind the Dungeon Master screen, I think I reorganized my folders and my maps, and I never did anything after that. I was thinking, nah, I don't really think anybody's interested. I just won't worry about that. But there we go. So this is the first corner. I can flick over and sort of show you the map just for a second, and then I'll come back to what I'm doing because that's more important, right? So on there It's just that bottom left corner that I'm doing the bushes. Right now that's what's happening. Otherwise, back to the job. Want to get this done before I have to go and cook some food, which I will have to do very shortly. Okay, but this is the fun bit, right? Okay, so now, counting squares. Next piece, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there. That is the wall over there for the cave. And then the cave sort of scoops in a bit like this, and then it goes up through one square, which is actually 2 squares, so that means it goes sort of like that, and then 1 square up, so that's 2 squares, and do a bit of a curvy thing, and then 1 square over and curve, so it's 2 squares, and just make sure my distance here is correct. So that's supposed to be 3 squares, so this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Why does that look like it's out? I've bollocked something up. It has got to be that I've bollocked something up. Absolutely ballsed it up. Okay, so at least it's in pencil right now, so I can rub it out. So what's the solution? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got the distance right there. I've just got the distance wrong here. Somewhere I have assumed that the line, okay, so the easiest way is to actually use that as a reference point, right? So that's 3 squares. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's, oh, it's 2 squares. Oh, okay, so there should be 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's correct. No, that's fine. Oh, I was fretting and worrying for nothing. It's in the right place. Okay, so I'm going to put those lines in and mark them in since they seem to be correct. I've checked them. And this comes around here. Okay, next job. Let us make sure we get this. This is all in line. So I just need to move this over. That's 1, 1, 2. So 2 squares, big curve. 2 squares is actually 4 squares, so it's going to be about there finish. So I want a curve that goes like so. Roughly, something like that. And then we want another square which sort of overlaps, and it's supposed to be 1 square over, so it's going to be 2 squares over, about there. And then we go up 1 square, which is actually 2 squares, comes out to about here, and it should come over about 2 squares rather than 1 square, because that's what's on the plan. Right, Vlink. Alright, okay, so yeah, it's working out all right. We're getting there. All right, I'll mark that line in since I think I've figured that one out. Yep, there we go. Cool. What's that, DG? Fred, you love movies. What movies have you referenced story ideas from in your personal games? Okay, all right, fair enough. Okay, so The Matrix. I've used The Matrix, and you're probably saying, well, Fred, yeah, but how did you use The Matrix? The honest truth is, if it flies, it's The Matrix, right? And I'm right into monks. I like playing monks, so I tend to sort of try to find some way to make that work. In the past, what I would have done is I would have cheated, and I would have just gone with, I think that's roughly that line there. I think that's, oh, there we go. I think I'll just make that to make, yep, okay, sorry. I got distracted. I was working. I was working though. I'm just going to count along here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's another 8 this way. So I'm not going to see any rocks over here because you can't get to that bit. Something like mimics. I've used, there's a movie called Mimic, and I actually have used that idea in my Dungeons and Dragons videos. I think at one point I had everything being a mimic. The whole adventure was just full of mimics. And my players were just like, are you serious? You telling me the entire thing is just a mimic? Yes, the tower you are in. The wizard's tower is in fact a mimic. And everything in the tower is a mimic. The bookshelves, yeah. So I've done that before. I did a X-Files Dungeons and Dragons adventure based off the movie and the TV series, and I used the Terminator movies as well to sort of base the idea off it as well, because I like the idea of Arnold Schwarzenegger having some sort of part to play in the whole thing. So that's what I did. Okay, so this here is 1 square, and this here is there. So that means the cave entrance on that side should be running down this line roughly, to make sense. So it's about there-ish. 2 squares down, it's actually 4 squares down. So we're looking at a roughly the same profile there, and then we just go funk like so. So yeah, I had cow abductions in the Dungeons and Dragons adventure, and I couldn't help myself. I decided to have every alien movie concept that you could possibly imagine from the X-Files and any other movie, incorporate it into a one-shot D&D adventure, and I called it X-Files D&D. And oh my gosh, a whole lot of people I had never met before showed up to play. I didn't realize just how popular the idea was. In fact, it was too popular, because it just about blew my mind, and having to deal with like 10 people I've never played with before at the table is rather hard. Okay, so what have we got here? This is 1 square over, a little bit up, so it's actually 2 squares. And then there's a bit of a curve bit, so that's 1 square, which is actually 2 squares, and then a bit of a curve bit. So it's sort of like that. I feel like that's roughly correct. What's that, DG? Monks, have you seen Shaolin Soccer? It is fun. No, I haven't. I can't play video games anymore. Otherwise, they take over my life, and there's nothing left of it. And I know that sounds strange, but honestly, I can't. If I do it, it's the end of my life. I'll never wind up doing anything else. And I don't mind the fact that I can't play video games, but yeah, it's just something I have to bear in mind. Otherwise, my life just disappears. I wind up just sitting in a darkened room, playing Forza or some other game, and having no social interaction with anybody, and that's not good for you, right? So hence I don't do it anymore. Yeah. Otherwise, I would probably be doing something in the way of D&D video games on the channel as well, which I should definitely not do. Right, what's that? It's a movie. Yeah, X-Files is Shaolin Soccer is a movie. I didn't realise. No, I haven't seen it. Okay, I'll have to go and check it out sometime. Comedy of monks playing soccer. Never heard of it. It's like Kung Fu Hustle. I really liked that. Kung Fu Hustle was awesome. Yes, I'm definitely familiar with Kung Fu Hustle. Thank you, Josh. All right, now let's not get sidetracked because we're not finished, and I'm about here, and I'm looking at my map, and I'm trying to figure out how to bring this through, and then over. So that's like this square, another square, in line with which one? It's going to be in line with that bit, in line with here. So somehow I've got to get from there to here. That shouldn't be difficult, right? You just go, oh, there, like that. Ah, point of reference, always helpful. And then there's a little hump. Got a little hump here, and then it comes through and finishes roughly. Is it there? I think it's there. Yeah, I feel like that's the there that I want to get to. That is the there I want to get to. So we're going to go from there to there. I'm sorry if that sounds like a very there thing. Do I need to come further down? I do. So there's a 2.5 squares. So from here, so that's like 2.5 squares. So that's 5 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There. So I need to come down to here. So go hump and down. Aha! Got it. And we'll mark that in so you can see it. So I can see it and I don't get confused, because otherwise I probably will get confused. I'm already looking at this and getting confused. So, dear. Okay, so let's just mark. Okay, got that bit in, and I'll put in the little stones that are over here, because there's like a couple of little rocks that should be there. I'll put my rocks in. There's a pathway on the other side I have to do as well. Oh. The things we do, trying to turn turning the scale. I've been dealing with scale drawings all week, and I'm just about sick and tired of it. And I'm doing it again. It's like the torture returns. 1, 2. So here, 1. That's 1. So that's 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. There. There's my point of reference. I've got to get from wherever I am currently to there as a marker. And there's got to be a curve there of some kind. And it looks like it's about half a square, so we'll go with a full square to get to there. And then it comes up, looks like it's about half a square, so it's going to be a full square. So we go like that. And then it comes in this way with a wiggly line about, who knows? Who knows what it is? It could be anything. I'm just going to make it up. I'm going to just draw it so it kind of looks right. Sort of. I think it roughly is. I just need to drop it in further. That's probably all. Okay, alright, so let's mark that in. Voila. And in this little bit here, there's supposed to be some rocks. So we'll put a couple of rocks there. This, I suppose I could shade, but right now I don't want to shade it because I cannot be bothered. So, I'm not going to. Not right now anyway. Maybe later. I'll mark it out later. Distinguish it from the rest. This is you walk in here into the cave and then die. Okay, so next I can keep going this way. And I made a reference point for this. Now if I just make sure I check on my map how many squares I'm dealing with, I should be able to go from there to here. That's a curve. So some sort of curve. Yep. And then it comes out and goes in, and that's like 1 square here. So that's 2 squares of wiggling out. And then another 1 square. Okay, so I'm just going to 1, 2, 3. So from here it should be 1, 2, 3. So that means from here should finish off and enter area 2 of the map. So something like that. Is that roughly? I don't know. It's hard to know. Am I going the right way? I feel like I am. Yeah, it is. Just use your pencil. Stop trying to make pretty lines. Okay, alright, got it. It's going in. The line's going in. I'm pretty sure it's in the right place, so I'm marking it. There we go. That was so easy. Now I'm finished. No, I'm only kidding. There's still a couple more lines to stick in before I am finished. We're going to do the passageway. So, starting from area 4, there's 1 square for this passage, so that's actually 2 squares. And it looks to me like it comes up 1, so it's actually 2 squares coming up. So we'll do like a curvy thing. And am I going the right way? I feel like I'm going the wrong way. I went curve. Should be curve that way. Curve that way. Yeah. Right, Fred. Yeah, that's it. Curve. Yeah. All right. Got that. And it comes in a little bit, so that's right. It just doesn't look like it's right when I'm looking at the drawing. Oh my. Okay. So next one. About part of 1 square. And that comes in for a curve. but it comes up about 1 square. So it's really going to be just about 2 squares. So a big curve here in the passageway. Opening up into area, and room 3 should be about here. So that's that. Now, got the curve 2 squares over, which is actually 4 squares. So that's 1, 2 to get to here. Needs to be in line with the existing profile of a curve, and there's a bit of a dip in there. And I'm not the dip. For those of you who are thinking, yes, there is a dip in the room, and it's you, Fred. I'm not the dip. I hope I'm not the dip. Right, let's draw that in. And sort of roughly like that. Next, let's put in the stairs, because it looks like there's some rock formation stairs. So part way through, I'll do it in pencil so I don't balls it up and get my position right first. So line, and then there's one line there, and there's another line here, and then it comes out roughly to about there. It's a line there, line there, line there, line here, and a line there. Okay, I got them. Ha ha! Look at the stairs. Da, da, ba, da, da, da. Looks really pretty. Okay, so that's good. I'm still not finished with room 3. I've got to figure that out and make sure I get it right. So, Humpty Lumpty Dumpty. Okay, starting with this corner here. We need a passageway. The passageway should be 1 square over. Right now I'm dealing with more than that, so that's not good. So we need to go 1 square. So actually it looks like it's 1 square and a bit. So I've got a bit here, and then 1 square would be 2 squares, so that should be the intersection. Oh, pardon me. Oh my. That should be the intersection right there. Making sure I get that right. Yep, that should be the intersection. There's the part of the cave that sort of extends there, and this actually continues on. So that's how many squares over? It's 1, 2, 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. So it goes over quite a lot. So I'm just going to go squiggle, squiggle, because bugger me, I didn't really see any point in doing it any other way. So squiggle, squiggle. And that is that wall there. Cool. Very nice. Ha! Next, passageway from area 2 to area 3. Got to finish that. So it's 1 square, which means it's 2 squares, which means 2 squares over, 2 squares this way. There is that point and mark. That looks correct. And it's got a funny shape to it, making it narrow here. Alright, so I've got to somehow make that come over to here. I don't know how to do that. I know, I'm just going to go blah, blah. The sound effects help me draw. For those of you who are wondering, sound effects. Sound effects always help. Okay, so that's roughly correct. And then this here should have like a curve in it, like that. Yeah, that looks right. Yep, good, cool, got it. Alright, there. Mada! I've got it. And I'll just put a couple of rocks here because that's where the rocks are. And now I'll put in the staircase area, which I did before fairly easily, so it shouldn't be too hard to do it again. Starting with lumpy bit here, lumpy bits there. And then that transition over is 1 square, so it's all in this area. So there should be a line there. There should be a line. Oh, technical drawing pencil, thank you. And there should be a line there coming all the way over, another line all the way over, and then a smaller line that's kind of wiggly like somebody's on drugs. Alright, cool, got it. So, line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4. Alright, so there is the stairs. So that means this is area 2, which I can't draw completely because there is no space. This is area 3. This will be part of area 1, and then this is off to the side. And this leads to area 4. And is there anything I need to draw on this side here before I... No, that's it. I got it. So that is actually not too bad. I actually feel like I got that sorted out. That was a lot of work for just 1/6. I've got 6 parts to do. I'm not going to do them all today, but I will do them at some point, for those of you who are wondering what the heck I'm doing. So at least the thing is, if you decide to do this yourself, at least you can see how I marked it out. Yeah, area 1, area 2, area 3. This is no area whatsoever. Sort of, this is the bushes over here in the corner. And I've only got 5 more to go. Yeah, hang around for that. I'll do that right now, shall I? No, not a chance. Not going to happen. Absolutely not. Wouldn't even consider it. I'm completely mental, you know this, but I wouldn't do that to myself. So right now you should be able to tell from the map that that is the bottom left corner of the map. So I'm going to say it now. If you have any advice, any questions, if you just want to say hi to me, if you want to abuse me, I don't want to know about it. But if you have any useful feedback, the live chat is still open. Otherwise, use the comments section. Give me some feedback. You want to support my channel? If you really want to do that, watching this video did so. And I have hundreds of videos for players and dungeon masters which cover all sorts of things. And as it happens, I do have a video on the new Stranger Things Dungeons & Dragons starter set, and I have a video on how to prepare for the hunt for the Fessel Hydra, for those of you who would like to go and watch that. And yes, there will be more videos on that topic when I get a chance to do a bit of research and sit down and write some notes. So don't worry about that, it will be coming. Now, I don't do Patreon, have no intentions of doing so, this is not my job, but I do have affiliate links down in the description for Amazon and the book depository, and they do help me buy equipment and keep the channel going, and I do appreciate it when people use them. Now, share, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell button if you really want to be notified when I have a live stream or a new edited video. If you don't, then don't worry about it. And hey, till next time, keep rolling those 20s. Okay, that's it for me. I'm going to go and get on with my day. I do appreciate everybody who showed up to watch me draw lines on a piece of paper and then draw out part of my map, which I've still got 5 more to go. I do really appreciate it. It's been real. I have to say, it's definitely been real. So have a good night, have a good day, have a good morning, good afternoon if it's an afternoon for you. Look after yourself and your family. And I'll see you tomorrow. And tomorrow is my day off, so I'm probably going to paint or just open miniatures because I just need to do something easy. This week has been tough. I'll see you later.